MSU basketball transfer Kaleb Glenn 5 months before the season, and he won't be playing the season because his knee exploded. This is not good.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners. I knew things were a little too good here in East Lansing. We've had a lot of happy shows lately, but of course, in life, when things go up, they must come down to regress to the mean. And another guarantee in life is that every offseason, a Michigan State basketball player is going to suffer some sort of lower body injury. Now, usually it's a hairline fracture to the foot. Usually they're just in a walking boot for a little bit. But stud transfer, Kaleb Glenn out of Florida Atlantic, your 6'7", 205-pound forward that we were all excited to see play in the green and white, will not be doing so in the 2025-26 season. Now, there were a lot of murmurs and rumors going around late Tuesday night into Wednesday, and Joe Tipton was the one that broke it. Justin Thind of 24/7 Sports. He also reported on it, too, that, yes, Kaleb Glenn tore his patellar tendon in his knee, and he will be out the entire season. And that's the one glimmer of hope we were kind of waiting on is, hey, maybe it was just a partial tear, because these kind of injuries, it could be anywhere from like a 6-ish month recovery to a full year, and looks like it's going to be the entire season sidelined for Kaleb Glenn. Before we go any further, hey, please rate, review, subscribe, comment below. Just your misery index right now, because, again, 5 months ahead of the season, and there's already been a blow to this team, and there is no way to slice it. Like, there's no spin zone to say, like, oh, this is actually fine. It's good. No, it's not good. His knee exploded like a 4th of July firework, guys. This is not good news whatsoever. At best, if you want the rosiest outlook on it, you lost a 6th man. Not even a starter, but who are we kidding here? At worst, yeah, maybe he would have started this season. We will never know, unfortunately, but he was going to get a lot of usage, whether it was in the starting lineup or right off the bench, because this guy offered experience. He offered size, the 6'7" frame, 205 pounds. He offered athleticism. He offered three-point shooting ability, which this team didn't really have last year, but he came in shooting 40%, with the Owls last season, and you're just not going to have it this year. So, look, is the entire season over? Do you got to start making, scheduling adjustments for the NIT coming up this season? No. I don't think, just one player makes or breaks the entire season for Michigan State here, but is this good news? Also, no, of course not. This is going to knock Michigan State down a peg or two, guys. Look, it brings me no joy to say that. I would love to say next man up, but there's a reason they went and they got Kaleb Glenn, because the guys behind him are just a tad undersized, but also more importantly, inexperienced, because a lot of this is going to fall on the freshmen here, because, well, now what? I guess Nick Sanders, who just got a scholarship offer, he could play 29 minutes a game at the 3. But also, I bring up Nick Sanders because I want to get everyone on the same page here. Nick Sanders just recently got a full scholarship. Awesome for the kid. He's worked hard here. Now, the roster limits, the scholarship limits, they have gone up from 13 to 15. Nick Sanders getting the scholarship not too long ago is not going to change what Michigan State should or can do this offseason. That is really irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. So I've heard some people say, oh, well, glad we gave Nick Sanders a scholarship. Now we can't use it. Not really important. And also, I don't really know what Michigan State's going to do at this point. We're in mid to late June. Pretty much everyone in the transfer portal has been scooped up, and I just don't see Tom Izzo and Michigan State going out and getting anyone that's left, getting the scraps at the bottom of the barrel of the transfer portal. But you want some names? I got 2 of them. Keontae Jones, he's from Cal State Northridge of the Matadors, of course, as everyone knows. Now, he was committed to USC for about 4 weeks, but he has just decommitted. So, hey, that's a guy that plays the wing. He's out there, too, if you need a body. Mustafa Amzil. How about that? Now, that's a name that you might think as familiar because he played for New Mexico. Now, he's more of like a power forward. He's 6'9", but hey, if you want an extra body, well, he gave you the beats in that scary round of 32 game last year. So maybe you just go ahead and get Mustafa Amzil in the mix. But I don't think that they're going to get anyone. But if you want names, there they are right now. What I think it's going to mean is more minutes for Scott, for Cohen Carr at the 3. Cam Ward is going to get more minutes too. So here's how it's going to work. Like Jeremy Fears is going to, obviously be your point guard. Trey Ford at the 2. Now here's where it gets interesting. Is at the 3, I think it was, an assumption that Cohen Carr would be starting. Okay, and then Kaleb Glenn would be first off the bench, whether it was at the 3 or the 4 position, which will be headed up by Jackson Kohler. But right now, this is going to slot up Jordan Scott, okay, freshman coming out of the DMV area. And this is also going to affect Cam Ward's minutes too, even though Cam Ward is more of a true 4 guy, a true power forward. But here you go with Jordan Scott. A lot of more eyes are going to be on him. And here's what you got with Jordan Scott coming straight out of high school. What he's missing that Kaleb Glenn has is about 20 pounds. And that's, the one knock with Jordan Scott coming in here is that he's a little bit more undersized coming out of high school, especially into Power 5 basketball, guys. Now, his shooting is still a work in progress, but it's close. It's not like he's shooting, 13% and hitting the side of the backboard every time he shoots a 3, but it's not, 40% from 3 at even mid-major or high-major college levels like Kaleb Glenn had. His defense, still fine. It's nothing that I'm worried about just yet. A little harder to gauge that when you're watching AAU and high school tape. But look, when Tom Izzo recruits a kid, you can trust that he knows how to play a semblance of defense. His mid-range game is solid. So, I think the plan was to kind of just wean Jordan Scott in. And this is what we talked about when they got Kaleb Glenn out of the transfer portal is, hey, great news. Jordan Scott doesn't have to feel a lot of pressure and get this baptism by fire. He can learn behind Cohen Carr in the first place. But now there's this Kaleb Glenn buffer between him and his development, his confidence, how he grows the game. But that's out the window now. Now it will be a baptism by fire for Jordan Scott. He's probably going to have to play a good share of minutes at the 3. Now, what this can mean for Cam Ward, because, let's say that, he's going to have to play more the 4 if Cohen Carr is going to be logging even more minutes at the 3 instead of sliding down to the 4 every once in a while. Now, Cam Ward, more of a traditional power forward, like we said. Now, he's also in the 6'7"-ish range, but he is up to 205, 210 pounds. So he is physically ready. And look, shooting is certainly not a strength for Cam Ward. That's part of him being a true 4. But physically, he is there. And, you just watch him play basketball, whether it's high school, AAU, tape, pickups, he's got that dog in him. And I know that sounds ridiculous. That's nothing analytical. It's nothing you could pick up out of a box score. But that matters here in Michigan State Spartan dog basketball. He can rebound. He can defend. So Cam Ward, I think, was already going to get a decent share of minutes as a freshman off the bench. But that's going to even be more apparent as we go into the season without one Kaleb Glenn. So not good, guys. Would love to come on here and say, oh, hey, you know what? That's okay. We're deep at every position. And just like we said, there are bodies there, but they're unproven bodies. Whereas Kaleb Glenn, that was your proven guy. So I wish this could be a better, rosier reaction to the news, but I'm not going to tell you it's 85 and sunny and there's rainbows in the distance, guys. No, this sucks. This sucks. But hopefully it's a passing storm. Michigan State will be able to figure it out and have more cohesion throughout the offseason here. Now, one other piece of basketball news that we're just going to mention. We already knew that Duke was going to be traveling to Michigan State. They have now set a date for that, December 6th. So the same day your Michigan State football Spartans are playing in the Big Ten championship game, Michigan State will be hosting Duke. What a day in East Lansing that is going to be. And just even outside of what's going to go around campus here, Kevin Sweeney of Sports Illustrated, he tweeted this out, that December 6th is going to be a melt on your couch and watch basketball day here because, look, Duke versus Michigan State, that's going to headline things. But here are some other college basketball games going on that day. Arizona versus Auburn, Louisville versus Indiana, Illinois versus Tennessee, Iowa State versus Purdue, St. John's versus Ole Miss, and Wisconsin versus Marquette. My goodness gracious, say goodbye to all your obligations and chores you got to do around the house. Those can wait until December 7th. So that's going to be a great day of basketball and football on the side too. So shout out to Kevin Sweeney of Sports Illustrated for pointing all that out. Now, guys, we do have good news to get to. Of course, we got to change sports to get to it because when isn't football the one giving us the better news between the two sports? But yes, we got another commit we got to talk about. We're going to preview this upcoming visitor weekend. But first, we need to talk everyone's ears off about FanDuel Sportsbook. That's right, guys, America's #1 sportsbook. And hey, depending on when you're listening to this, the NBA playoffs are in full swing for a little bit longer here, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't miss moments, whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player. There's never been a better time to get in on the action. Now, guys, FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game both before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to stay in the game, play smart, and win big. Now, guys, hey, this only might be around for one more game, but it's the method of first basket bet. We're going to go Chet Holmgren on the free throw line for the first points in Thursday night's Game 6. Come along, ride with me on FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up because, guys, when you head to FanDuel.com, you place your first $5 bet. Well, if it wins, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, guys, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, now let's get back into it, talking Michigan State football now. We're going to leave the sadness behind us because, yet again, it's just another day of commits here for Michigan State University. Now, this one came on Tuesday. You may have already heard about this one by now, and you may have saw this as an inevitability because Adam Shaw, double legacy kid out of New Jersey, 6'3", 205 linebacker, he commits to the green and white. Now, this kid's just an all-around football player, all-around athlete. He plays quarterback over at Pascack Valley School in New Jersey. He also, runs the 50-50. He steams the hot dog buns at halftime. This kid does a little bit of everything on Friday nights over at Pascack Valley. So actually, it's primarily quarterback of which he plays. Not a ton of linebacker in his experience, but again, 6'3", 205 pounds. I mean, that's a pretty solid frame. Now, you can move all over a football field, so it's going to be the defensive side of the ball where he will most likely find home here in East Lansing. So who did the Spartans beat for the commitment of one Adam Shaw? Well, this kid at one point was committed to Rutgers, but for a shorter amount of time than it takes a caterpillar to turn into a butterfly. He was a Scarlet Knight for 10 days, guys. This was earlier this month. Now, he also had offers from Wake Forest, Cornell, UMass, UConn. But, yeah, he did visit the Scarlet Knights, did commit. Now, they play a little bit of hardball there in Greg Schiano country, where if you want to take an official visit anywhere else, well, that means your commitment's gone. Adam Shaw was willing to roll those dice. He visits East Lansing not too long ago, and here he is committed to the 2026 class. And, guys, just like I said, double legacy. His dad, Adam, was an All-American lineman in 1997. His mom was a solid field hockey player here for the Spartans, too. So what do we like about his game? This is the part of the programming where we talk about, hey, what we like to see out of a guy that plays their position. But what I like out of his game when you watch his huddle tape is that he threw for 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. He also ran the ball for almost 1,000 yards. He had 15 touchdowns, which is not a good breakdown of a guy that's going to play linebacker here at Michigan State. He really doesn't have a lot of defensive tape, guys. Like I said, he's primarily a quarterback here. But you see this time and time again. And, they also have another guy in this class, Joey Caudle, who also plays quarterback at his school. But he's going to be coming to East Lansing as a tight end here. So, not a super elite quarterback, but certainly an above-average athlete. Why not strap on the shoulder pads and find yourself another home on defense? Now, on Twitter, he does claim to run a 4.5 40-yard dash, which will certainly play at any position that you want to play. But I've also seen online, too, that he runs a 4.7, which for a linebacker, not horrible. I'm sure there's some speed to the kid, especially if he's, improving on that and running closer to that 4.5. But, yeah, guys, that's where you have it right now. Now, the linebacker room for this 2026 class, he is not the only linebacker committed. You also have Braylon Hodge, who's a 3-star out of Colorado. Now, Braylon Hodge is who we're talking about now. Braylon Hodge plays more of edge rusher on the line. He's more of that stand-up linebacker that is very close to the line of scrimmage on many plays here. I can see him profiling as more of the strong side linebacker, although he is another quick guy. Could he one day be a weak side linebacker? Who's to say? But yes, they prioritize speed in the linebacker room with Braylon Hodge here. So that is your duo of linebackers. Now, guys, I will say, we just talked about Adam Shaw, defensive player from the state of New Jersey. Michigan State might not be done getting defensive players from the state of New Jersey because there's one that really caught my eye. Now, he goes by the name of Logan Nagle, and he lives about a half hour away from Adam Shaw, so just right down the road. He plays at DePaul Catholic, who wear the green and white, who are called the Spartans, and they use the Michigan State logo in their uniforms. Like, this would just be a natural transition for Logan Nagle here. Now, guys, of course, when we watch, prospect film, of course, guys that commit to Michigan State, we always want to talk about the highlights. We always want to talk about what we enjoy watching. We always talk glowingly about this player. This one, I truly, genuinely appreciate this film. I appreciate all the films, but usually, okay, there's a reason why a kid is only rated a 3-star. There's obviously a flaw to his game, but a lot of redeeming qualities. With Logan Nagle, this is a kid that I certainly want. I don't care that the 24/7 Sports Composite has him ranked in the 900s. When you turn on his film, and I know that, sure, hey, maybe New Jersey high school football isn't like the stiffest competition, but my goodness gracious, this kid at 6'5", 270 pounds, he's listed as a defensive lineman because, well, is he an end? Is he a tackle? He will probably end up playing the 3 technique somewhere inside here, wherever he does commit. But guys, man, oh man, you watch this kid on his tape. He lines up everywhere. He's over the guard. He's over the tackle. He's outside of the tackle. And more times than not, he's eventually in the quarterback's face mask because he beats offensive linemen in a variety of ways. Speed off the snap, a great first step. He's got a good swim move. He's great at hand-to-hand combat. He can just overpower some offensive linemen, which, of course, in high school will be a little easier than at the college ranks. But when I'm watching this kid play, he's got the full package, not just of where he lines up on the line here, but the ways that he could beat offensive linemen. He plays with a mean streak to him. That's a kid where I see him, and I'm wondering how he can get in a green and white jersey again, collegiately, and not just in high school. So keep your eye out for Logan Nagle. At the time of recording, he is not committed anywhere, but yes, it is going to be a battle for Logan Nagle. He did visit last weekend, which was somewhat of a surprise. He was going to visit this upcoming one, but moved it up a full week. Now we're going to go up against schools like Virginia Tech, I believe, is in the mix here. What's the other one? Boston College is going to be heavily in the mix. Sorry, I usually write this down in my notes, but I skipped this one, just going off of memory of what I watched last night. But yes, more East Coast schools are, obviously going after him because he's incredibly talented. I would love to add this kid as part of the 2026 class. Now, speaking of the 2026 class, let's get moving on into breaking down this upcoming weekend, guys, because there's not a lot of visitors. I mean, Michigan State's class is pretty much fleshed out at this point. They're sitting at 18 kids right now after Adam Shaw's commitment, which, by the way, ranks number 21 on Rivals as far as teams go, number 8 within the Big Ten Conference. So, but hey, just 4 visitors right now slated for this weekend. We got 3-star quarterback, a guy that's already committed, Cade Kaufman, 3-star wide receiver, Tyron Wortham, and that's high 3-star. There's actually a few websites out there that have him up as a 4-star, but right now he's committed to UCF, still taking the official visit to Michigan State this weekend. Anyway, the 3rd guy, running back Jamal Rule, and then the 4th guy, a preferred walk-on commit, Jack Lansing III out of Heartland, Michigan. Now, just want to go through a few notes here on these guys. Cade Kaufman, look, he's been committed here for a while, long before official visit season started. So the one note that I have for Cade Kaufman is that it's positive, obviously, that his only official visit in the month of June is to Michigan State. He's been getting offers from Colorado. He's got one from Ole Miss, Iowa State. Ohio State was there to see him. Ryan Day gave him a hard look. He's visited their coaching staff a little bit ago, but no offer has been made, and he hasn't gone down for an official visit. So, look, you want to keep your guys. You want to keep your quarterback in your class, obviously, especially with how early he committed. It's good news that this is only official visit that he has taken so far right here in East Lansing. Now, Tyron Wortham, we're going to spend a little bit of time on here. Now, this kid's a fascinating prospect. High 3-star, or again, guys, the 24/7 Sports Composite has him as a 4-star. Now, 6 foot, 180-pound wide receiver from the great state of Florida down in Sarasota. Now, he plays at Booker High School. They reached the semifinals last year, and right now he is committed to the Knights. UCF has his commitment. Now, he was at Kansas State last week. You might have heard this school that he visited the week prior. It's called Georgia. That's right, the Georgia Bulldogs are after this guy, and you can see easily why he's a 4-star. You can see why other Power 4 schools are after him. He's fast, which shouldn't surprise anyone because, anyone that's a 4-star probably has some semblance of speed. But also, this is the kind of receiver that the Michigan State staff is targeting so far in this cycle, is speedy receivers. You see it with Zach Washington. They were going hard after Samson Gash, which Depending on when you listen to this, he is already maybe committed elsewhere at the time of recording. I know that things weren't looking good for Michigan State to get this commitment, but nevertheless, hey, they want to prioritize speed in this class. Guys, he gets to his top gear quickly. Like, you watch his highlight tape, whether it's the start of a route, okay, he's already at top speed, or I find really impressive, his yards after catch, whether it's, just getting a nice little hook route, 5 yards, turning around, and by the time he's reached his second step, he's already at 70 miles an hour, or on a screen route. Like, this kid gets fast, and he gets fast quick. A yard after catch machine. So right now, the wide receiver room, Zach Washington, that's that 6'2" kid out of Wheaton, the old teammate for Alessio Milivojevic, which is your backup quarterback here in East Lansing. So, hey, if you can get this kid's commitment, which will be tough, but you can get it. Jonathan Smith has shown that he has beaten tough schools this June for other guys' commitments. Tyron Wortham would be a great add to this class. Now, really quick, Jamal Rule, the running back, coming into town because Michigan State has missed out on all sorts of other running backs. Michael Dukes, who flipped from Toledo to Rutgers. You got Nelson Wheeler, who committed to Illinois. Corey Amakri from MSU's backyard commits to Kansas. Well, in comes Jamal Rule, 6'2", 205-pound running back from Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, in the composite, he is ranked number 776, the number 47 ranked overall running back. He has already visited Nebraska, Boston College, Virginia Tech. They are all in the mix. And then Jack Lansing, the third. Now, he plays out of Heartland. He's about 6 feet tall, and this is another case, just like Adam Shaw. He's a good football player. Where's he going to go? Like, where's he going to be on the field? Could he play defensive back? Could he play linebacker? Is he going to line up at receiver? This is a commitment where you get the preferred walk-on commit, and then you just figure out the rest later. And it will be interesting to see if he does stay as a preferred walk-on or if they do use a scholarship on Jack Lansing. I believe Pitt offered him a scholarship not too long ago, so that might be getting a little competitive here for the services of one Jack Lansing. So just one more note on this weekend of recruiting, guys. I know very briefly ago, I think it was last episode actually, we talked about wide receiver Xavier Warren, another speed demon. He was going to visit this Thursday. That is no longer taking place. So if you were holding out hope for Xavier Warren, if you already bought your Xavier Warren Michigan State jersey, go check the refund policy on that, because that will not be happening. But such is the world of recruiting in East Lansing and just, college football in general. So there it is, guys. We will be back later this week. We're going to have hopefully a sit down with Carter Elliott to talk more about this basketball. Next up in our off-season, way too early look-ahead preview is Indiana. We're going to have a show on them coming down the pike here in a little bit. But guys, until all that, take care of yourselves. Love you all. Go Green.